Aboru aboye. You know, there's a saying that if the only tool you have is a hammer, everything will look like a nail. And I really like that saying because what it does is it reveals the ways in which your perception and your thinking can be limited and narrowed by the spectrum of tools you have on hand. Okay? This is the School of Orisa Studies, and I'm your instructor, Obafemi Origunwa. And today I want to share a lesson on the relationship between your mindset, your logic, and the spiritual system that you're operating within. For most African Americans, we're coming out of a Christian mindset and a Christian logic. And then by extension, we compensate for the limitations of Christianity with hoodoo. Okay? Now, even if you weren't raised as a son of a Baptist preacher, and your grandmother was a hoodoo swamp mama or something, or your grandfather wasn't a two-headed man or a conjure man, or even if that was not the case, our logic as a community is hoodoo, right? And so as a result, you're going to be familiar with some of the more common hoodoo remedies and superstitions. Okay, what happens when you don't want somebody to come back to your house? What happens if somebody sweeps your foot? What happens if, right, somebody's having a baby? What does it mean if you put your hat on the floor? What does it mean if you, right? All of those things, those fall into the category of the spectrum of hoodoo thinking, right? And that's our point of reference when it comes to supernatural things. And then when it comes to religious things, our thinking is Christianity. All right? But hoodoo and Christianity go together. If you talk to 99.9% of all the hoodoo workers, they're going to tell you that they're Christian, which is why they're going to be comfortable with using the Bible, right? Particularly the Psalms, right? So that's just our base of thinking. And it's great, right? But here's the thing. When I look at hoodoo, and I just observe the way what they call tricks, and hoodoo, they're tricks. When you make a preparation and you use it for a particular effect, you put some things together, right? Some red string or some kind of a particular skin of an animal, and you put it put together with other elements, and you tie it a certain way, and you put it in a certain place, and right, those are things that are called tricks. When I look at how the tricks are put together and how the tricks are used and what the rules are around tricks, they look very much like what we call Ishe Ifa. Ishe Ifa, not to be confused with Ishefa. Ishefa is the hand of Ifa. But Ishe Ifa are works of Ifa. Works of Ifa. These are preparations, charms, amulets, talismans, stuff like that will fall into the category of Ishe Ifa. But an Ishe, a work of Ifa, is governed by an Odu Ifa. So you put together certain works when certain Odu manifest, right? Likewise, it is possible that you want a certain kind of a charm, and so you would put it together, but you would still reference, like your recipe book would reference this particular Odu, and you would know which prayers to recite and incantations based on what's contained in that particular Odu. When I look at hoodoo tricks, they look very much like Ishe without the Odu. Okay? So here's the point that I want to draw into your focus at this point. When we are working hoodoo, we don't make reference to Shonko and Obatala and Oshun, and all those things are not part of our vocabulary, right? Traditionally. Now it's starting to creep in, and as it does, people may make associations between certain ingredients or certain places with Orisha. It's a natural thing. Oh, this charm involves a broom, or this involves pepper, or this involves a red string or black string, right? And so it's natural as you start to see different things about the Orisha that, oh, I'm going to associate this with that, or to do this one I have to go to the river. Oh, Oshun is in the river, or this one I have to go to the mountain. Oh, Obatala is in the mountain. So you can naturally start to say that, okay, the logic tells me that since I got to go to the river to do this, and Oshun owns the river, oh, then this is related to Oshun. By that same logic, then if I want to do something with Oshun, I want to make an offering to Oshun, then I can just take what Oshun likes and give it at the river. Right? That is logical. That is logical from our perspective, based on our metaphysical folk healing tradition. Okay? But it's not consistent with the laws and the principles of Ifa. Okay? Because, for example, Oshun is not the only river. All the female deities are rivers. Oya is a river. Oba is a river. Yewa is a river. Right? And so Yemoja also is a river. So it's not just this one-on-one correlation. Likewise, we may say something like water. There's within the sort of a shamanistic mindset, you may have the spirit of water, and so the spirit of water can be called upon to do certain things, right? Or may even be associated with certain Orisha, and that's but all the deities use water, or many of the deities use water. Ogun uses water. Right? The water, for example, that the blacksmith uses to cool his tools, that's healing water. That is water that can be used for a variety of different purposes. Obatala uses water. His water's coming from a different place. Of course, Oshun uses water, as does Olokun and Oya. They're using water as well, but in slightly different ways, right? So you can't just oversimplify what elements belong to which Orisha, and likewise you can't oversimplify what offerings you give to an Orisha, right? Even if it's an offering that the Orisha does accept, it doesn't mean that that's the proper offering to create the desired outcome that you're seeking. Okay? It doesn't mean that what you want to offer is what that deity will accept to do what you want or what you need. Okay? So I like the simple example, and this came from something I learned from my Oluwa many years ago. I like apple pie. I like all kinds of fruit pies, right? So anybody who knows me knows that I like pie. You bring me a pie, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to enjoy it. And if it's a real nicely prepared, granny made pie, even better. I am going to be overjoyed. But because you bought me a pie does not mean that I'm going to lend you my car for the weekend. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that I'm going to go out and fight your enemy, fist to fist in the street. It doesn't mean that, right? So you got to think, like, there may not be anything you can offer me to go and fight your enemy. So you could be wasting your time. You could bring me 10 pies. I'm not going to do that. You want me to lend you my car? Well, maybe I'll do that, but you're going to have to be real clear about what you're going to have to offer me, which means you're going to have to probably have a conversation with me, and you're going to find out what I actually need so we can make an agreement. Okay, you got to engage me in some kind of a communication to say, well, about what do you actually need that I could offer you that would really be the equivalent of me borrowing your car for the weekend. That is where divination comes in. It's through divination that you understand what offering is appropriate to give to which deity to create the desired effect. Right? And all of that assumes that the effect that you want to create is really desirable. It's the other purpose of divination. Divination allows you to see around corners, to say, yes, you could make this offering and you could get this outcome, but that outcome will kill you. If you get what you want in this case, you're going to die the next day. Oh, never mind. I don't want to give you that pie at all. Right? I don't want to borrow your car at all. Change of plans. I'm not interested in that. Never mind. I'm cool. Right? So that's the logic of Orisha lifestyle. Divination is super important because it creates the context for your practice. And it takes you beyond the thinking of, I have a hammer and this is a nail. Right? It goes into, I want to build a house. And these are the proper builders. And this is the proper sequence of events to go about creating that desired outcome. Okay? So I want to take you beyond being a laborer, and I want you to, start elevating your thinking to the level of an architect. And if you want to get those skills, you come to the School of Orisa Studies. This is how we do it. Aboro aboye, aboshishe.